Hey, everybody. It is Kelly Nielsen here from Grace for Living After Loss. And on this channel, we are committed to providing tools, resources, tips for recovering from grief and loss and learning how to love your life again. On today's episode, I want to talk to you about restoration. Restoration and recovery are words that get thrown around a lot in the grief space. And oftentimes people will say that it's impossible. It's impossible to have restoration or it's impossible to have recovery. So I want to talk a little bit today about what it is and what it isn't, and for you to know and decide for yourself what is possible. So straight out the gate, let me say that I believe that recovery is 100% possible for you, and that restoration is what is in God's heart and in his plans for you and for your life. But what is it and what isn't it, right? So first of all, let me say that in terms of recovery, I don't define recovery as you're never sad about the person that you lost. You don't ever have days where you miss them. That isn't recovery. What recovery is living your life in a way that grief is not debilitating, that grief is not running the show. It's not keeping you from anything in your present life or in your future life, that you're not just surviving, you're actually enjoying your life. And that when those moments of sadness show up, you have tools, resources, and support to be able to navigate them and to still stay present in your current situation and look forward to your future. That's a little bit about recovery, but I want to talk more actually about restoration, because I think that restoration implies that you're going to restore something to its original design. And so many of us can get hung up in our grief recovery journey because we're looking for things to be restored. We just want things to go back to the way that they were. And that is a fool's errand. Things are never going to go back to the way that they were. You as a person are never going to be the person that you were before the loss. And that is both good and bad news. It's bad news if you're wanting to be, if you're wanting time to go backwards, if you're wanting things to be the same as if the loss never happened, or if you're hoping or expecting that you somehow are going to be restored back to the version of you that existed before this loss happened. That is not going to happen. And if that's where you put your focus and your energy and your effort, you'll be stuck there a long time and you'll be disappointed for a long time. But I want to talk to you about restoration in terms of who you were actually designed to be from the beginning of time. See, God spoke to me about this a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago now. I was preparing for a speaking engagement and I was going to be sharing my story about loss and recovering from loss. And I was talking to him about restoration and specifically what he wanted me to share about restoration. And he told me in that moment that the plan for restoration was never to restore you to who you were before the loss. The restoration that God's at work with is to restore you to the version of you, the blueprint of you that he created before the foundation of time. See, God always works. He finishes a thing before he begins it. So he actually finished the work of you, the fullness of you, the full expression of you, who he designed you to be, and the role he created for you to play in the earth. That was designed before the foundation of the earth. And then he goes back to the beginning and knit you together in your mother's womb and puts you in the earth, right? And so many of us can be longing for this version of ourselves before the loss when that person was never meant to be a lasting version. The lasting version of you is the person that you are in the process of becoming. Actually, by going through this loss, changes are happening in you, things are being formed in you that are going to benefit and help you to become the person that God designed you to be. And I'm here to tell you that there is no greater joy or contentment or peace that you can find on this earth, except for to know who you are, to know how God wired you, how he designed you, to become that fully and to walk that out in the earth. To fully become who God designed you to be, and then share your gifts, share your message, share whatever God has put on the inside of you to share that with the earth and the world. That is the entire reason why we're here. So it's so easy for us to look at these setbacks, these seemingly setbacks, these disappointments, these losses, and to be discouraged and to think it's taking us off of our path or it's taking us out of the way, when this actually could be a very integral part of your path and of your story and of your purpose for you to become who you were designed to be from the beginning of time. I hope that is an encouragement for you. I hope that that is like another lens that we can look through to process this loss and to move forward in a way that is healing, that is healthy, that is from a place of strength and comfort and purpose and intentionality. And now I want to also just touch on the fact that even though God is using this to help form you into the person he created you to be, and even though God knew this was going to happen and that this was going to be a part of your story, it does not mean that he caused it to happen. We live in a fallen world and the effects of sin are rampant, and people do have free will. So you may have experienced something traumatic and devastating. It doesn't mean that God caused it or needed it to happen in order to create you, to form you into the person that you are meant to be. But because God is so good and he's so big, he can use anything. He can literally use what the enemy meant to destroy you to shape you into the person that you're meant to be and for you to walk out your purpose here on earth. He can literally use other people's mistakes. He can use your mistakes. He can use anything under the sun because he's that good and he's that big and he's that sovereign. He can use literally anything to shape you into the person that you are meant to be. So the question is, at this stage in the game, you've experienced loss, you're hurting, you're this and that. Are you going to lean into this process? Are you going to let this process do its work and make the changes in you, form you into the person that you were designed to be? Are you going to learn about that person, learn who that person is and what that person is here to do and go about that work and engage in that? Or are you going to choose to stay focused on the past, stay focused on the loss, and continue to be sidelined by the devastation? Now, hear me, I'm not minimizing the pain, the tremendous effort and intentionality that it takes to process through the loss. It is the hardest thing that I've ever encountered. And I'm guessing it's the hardest thing that will ever encounter. But I'm here to encourage you that recovering, learning how to recover and going through this process of restoration is necessary. It is not just necessary for your life, but think about if you're a spouse, if you're a parent, if you're connected to other people, there are other people that are depending on you to figure this out and to do this incredibly hard work so that you can get to a place where you're contributing to those around you and you are having a meaningful life. But even beyond your close family and friends, I want to encourage you and implore you that the rest of us are needing you because we need your contribution. Whatever it is that God planted in you, placed in you, that you have to contribute to the world, the rest of us desperately need it. We all need it from one another. We need everyone to know and become who God created them to be and to share the thing that they have to share. Because who knows, you might be walking around and you may be the key to someone else's healing. If I had not leaned into this process and learned how to share my story, you wouldn't be watching this video today. And I got to tell you, it warms my heart so much. The people that have been encouraged or inspired or found the strength to engage in this work and to continue putting one foot in front of the other because of hearing my testimony and my story. So that is the opportunity that awaits us all. That's what's available to each and every one of us. But I want to encourage and implore you actually today, if you're recovering from grief and loss, please don't run from it. Please don't stuff it down. Please don't ignore it. Please engage in the work of recovery and restoration so that we all can benefit from what is on the other side for you. As always, myself and all the coaches here at Grace for Living After Loss are here to cheer you on and encourage you in your grief recovery journey every step of the way. If this was helpful to you, be sure to subscribe and follow us for other videos and connect with us on Facebook. We'll see you next time.